Here-
Kill you! I've just seen death!
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Gabriel,
What's up?
should we talk about what we're going to talk about, or do you want to go over the Drake and Kendrick Lamar diss tracks?
We could go over them real quick.
I like how Drake was just like, yeah, like you're short, and then
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar just responded like, "You're a pedophile. All your friends are pedophiles. I wish you were
Yeah.
dead."
Well, there's a new one by Drake now.
Is there?
Yeah,
Oh shit!
that was claiming that his baby mama might not be his baby. It could be his manager's baby.
Mm.
Not only that, it's like, why is he talking shit about like light skinned people when his baby mama's clearly a little light skinned and mixed?
I have a feeling this is not going to end up well.
It's not.
I'm getting 90s rap battle stuff going on again, like feuds.
Yeah, except a little trendy hashtaggy. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a little hashtag. Yeah,
It's
it's a little memey. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really care.
I
I like the jokes in there. Actually.
The jokes are good. Yeah, I like Kendrick a lot more than Drake.
Yeah, I like Kendrick, but I don't like this style that he has. It's kind of boring. They're cool. Yeah. They're more like lyrical, like New Yorkish.
Yeah, Drake's a little better at making like
Drake
top
has
40 stuff.
Like a little fucking beat, like going on, like
a little catchier.
But that one told Kendrick, he's like, hey, your back is against the curve now. It's another short. Like, yeah, like stupid shit, you know.
You can't go after short people, dude. They're very sensitive about that shit. We had my friend in high school. I had a friend in high school that was really short, like almost considered like a dwarf. And man, if you talked about like his height at all, he would come at you big time. Yeah.
Some people change their life just because they're short. They start working out and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, dude. They get their legs broken and extended out.
I heard of that, yeah.
So speaking of 90s rap battles, I want you to picture this, okay? You're walking down Crenshaw Avenue.
Okay? Oh, fuck, again?
And you're talking on your iPhone, and you got your earbuds in, and you see like a Prius and a Tesla drive by, and then all of a sudden you turn a corner, and you feel there's like static in your head, and you see a guy wearing his pants backwards, and you hear the fucking Humpty Dance on the radio, and you see Bill Clinton. There's a TV store, and you walk by, and Bill Clinton's on the TV giving a speech, and then you go to the corner market and you pick up a newspaper, and it says March 6, 1992.
Yeah. And
then you leave the market, and then all of a sudden you get that static in your head again, and all of a sudden you're back on your iPhone. Your iPhone's working again, and you see, like, you know, some regular thing that you normally wouldn't see in the 90s, you know. So how would you react to that?
I'd probably check if I did any drugs. Go like refresh
a little DMT.
Refresh my memory. Like, did I do anything to this?
Did I
check my pockets?
I do LSD today and some PCP or something?
I don't even know, dude. Fuck.
So I don't know how I respond either. I think I'd try to buy stocks real fast.
Oh, okay.
Like in a company before, like if I realized what was going on, you know, I'd try to buy something, or maybe I don't know, anything I could make money off of in the future.
Yeah.
But the phenomenon I just described is called a time slip, and they've been documented by people for the last couple hundreds of years. Earliest ones were in the 1700s. There's a famous account in the 1800s by a woman at Versailles who saw things in the 1700s, and then came back and had a second experience there at Versailles. So basically, a time slip is all of a sudden you go through a rip in time space, and all of a sudden you're back 50 years, 100 years. Maybe you're forward 100 years, or back, or forward 200 years, and it's for a small amount of time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're back in your reality. And it seems to be a continuing thing that happens to people. And some people believe in it. Some people think it's made up for stories. I mean, I know we always have to take stuff with a grain of salt here, but
Yeah.
like Mark Twain wrote a book that I think it was something about a guy in King Arthur's court. This is about a guy going back in time randomly and ending up in medieval times. So I scoured the internet to find what I thought were the most interesting stories about time slips. I got a few of them here. Some of them are from articles, and some of them for just random forums I found people who had experiences.
Yeah.
You've never had anything like this happen, have you?
No, not this one.
No. I never know what you
Yeah.
don't know about.
Imagine that you've been holding that one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, fucking last week I fucking
forgot to tell you.
I walked into the Black Plague, and then first story I'm going to read off is from the Daily Mail UK. This is written 2021 by Flick Everett.
Okay.
So this is documenting a woman in the 1980s, Carolyn Anders, who is now 57, moved to Devon to work for the NHS, which is the National Health Services in the UK. And one weekend, a colleague drove her to Plymouth for a party. As they skirted a roundabout to approach the city, she remembers seeing a beautiful church. The windows were full of color and the light streaming through the stained glass. And as we passed the front doors, I saw a large congregation, she says. While Carolyn can clearly recall the sight, no one else in the car saw it. The real shock was to come a few weeks later when her boyfriend Phil suggested a Saturday out at the Plymouth Hoe.
Swingers, huh?
Yeah, they got the upside down pineapple outside their house. As we drove past the roundabout, I literally cried out because the church was in ruins, says Carolyn. I said, "Oh my God, what happened? Did you know it had been damaged?" It was then that Phil told her that the church, Charles Church, one of the oldest in the area, had been bombed in the Second World War.
Oh, shit.
What Carolyn had seen was impossible. The church had been left in ruins as a memorial for the dead. Yet she remains convinced of what she saw. My friends believe me because I'm not given to flights of fancy. So, one thing I kept noticing when I was going through these stories, there seems to be a parallel with World War II.
Oh, really?
There seems to be a lot of things going back to around that time. I don't know what that's about, but
that's pretty interesting.
I think, maybe it's something like traumatic events causes some sort of ripple in time, or
yeah, fuck, I don't even know.
Yeah,
like I don't know what wavelengths. Like, what if everybody's just thinking about the same thing creates something?
Yeah,
like I don't know what the fuck. Yeah.
Like you're in a hospital in England or in Germany, and then you all of a sudden you turn the corner and it's the 1920s, 1910s. And you see a woman holding her baby, and she goes, "Oh, come here, look at my baby. Isn't he beautiful?" And you say, "Yeah, what's his name?" She goes, "Adolf." And you say, "Sure, let me see the baby."
And after you leave, well, I'm glad he had a twin. Like, right?
No,
you're the one that created that shit. That's how it works. You always create it.
It's a butterfly effect with Ashton Kutcher. Did you ever see that movie?
I saw that.
Yeah. You never know what you can change.
What did you see? Future Man?
No, what's that?
You never seen Future Man? It's a
No.
funny. It's fuck. It used to be on Hulu. I think they.
Oh, there's a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, with wasn't the guy from Hunger Games in it?
Yeah, that kid.
Yeah, I heard it was really funny.
There's an episode where the girl goes back. These motherfuckers always going back and forth in time. But the girl, she goes back and she wants to kill this baby because it's easier to kill him when he's little, right?
Yeah.
He's a black dude, and she goes and she fucking has a knife, and she
Mhm.
meets the mom. The mom is like super nice and sweet. Like,
Mhm.
you want to come in for tea? Next thing you know, like fast forward, she's fucking helping her clean the house.
Oh
She
shit.
speaks like her now. She's getting married, and she's like, "Oh my god, where are we moving?" Like it just fucking forgot everything that her plan. And she's like, "Actually, I want to talk to you about that. I'm getting married, but you gotta go." So, so she brings out the knife, and now she wants to go to fucking bust her plan.
That's
But
something
like,
I would do if I went
she
back
got
in
fucking
time.
sidetracked, did she?
I would get totally sidetracked and like, oh, look, a dog.
Yeah, no missions in the fucking past.
Here's the other thing. A lot of stories in the UK.
Oh, really?
Not so much in America, but a lot of stories in the UK. I don't know what it is about the UK, but something about it, man. It like I would say out of 30 stories that I read, probably 20 of them were in the UK.
So UK and World War II.
Yeah, UK World War II. So it's starting to sort of coalesce a little bit about everything. I'm working on a theory. I'm going to submit my paper later.
Not bad so far. You found a little pattern.
So the next story, Matt Davies, 50, from Stour Bridge in the West Midlands, which is again in the UK, was baffled by a strange occurrence last November. Nothing like it has happened to me before, he insists. I was cycling down a canal about 9:30 a.m. when I saw a young boy sitting on the lock gate in what looked like a Victorian working class clothes. He was smoking a pipe and staring into the water. He was a little boy.
Okay.
He didn't look up as I went past. Somewhat confused, Matt began his research, pinpointing the exact spot via his cycling data on Google Earth. He eventually discovered that the canal cottages opposite were the scene of an unsolved murder in the 20th century. It could just be a fellow who does. It could just be a fellow who does historical recreations, says Matt. But he looked a bit young for it, and there was nowhere open in. Oh yeah, there was nowhere open in the lockdown. Sorry, some of these are written strange. These people in England don't know how to talk right.
Nobody learned them.
They should learn how to speak English.
No, they should learn how to speak American.
Fucking American, god damn it. But the most famous British time slip spot isn't a site of battles or trauma. It's more of a shopping and coffee area. Liverpool's Bold Street is so well known for time slip that there's a Reddit forum dedicated to discussing Bold Street only, along with YouTube documentaries and Facebook pages. One of the popular tales on these platforms tells of Frank, a policeman not given to wild imaginings, who in 1996 was heading to a bookstore. He recalled an unusual quietness and looked up to see the street cobbled and passers-by dressed in clothes from the 1950s. The bookshop was now named Cripps and selling women's clothes. He later discovered that Cripps had indeed been on the site. In 2005, music student John Moonen recorded seeing horses and carts carrying passengers in Victorian dress past old-fashioned stores. He assumed a production was filming, but when he looked back, they disappeared and the shops appeared modern again.
That's fucking trippy, because they're not like entirely making up a scenario. It just they just happen to watch it,
Yeah,
they're just there for the fucking vision.
Yeah. For some reason on this one street, people are having tons of experiences. I don't know what it is about it, but it's not like they're making up like I saw a beautiful woman and she gave me a locket, and
it seems very random.
Yeah, it's not like a Stephen King book or something. It's just these random things. I guess there's a lot of stuff I found on Reddit of this one Bold Street, and there's tons of YouTube stuff you can look up. For some reason, it just keeps happening over and over and over again on this one area. So
cool.
Here's another World War II connection. Okay. While talking on the TV show Unexplained, author Andrew Collins briefed the interviewer on an account of two journalists who were visiting at Altona, a German shipyard in 1932. So these are two journalists. It's 1932, and they're at a shipyard in Germany.
Yeah.
J. Bernard Hutton and Joachim Brandt were having a rather uneventful tour of the shipyard. That is, until bombs started dropping all over around the two men. They quickly make their way back to their vehicle. Once there, they turn around and they start photographing the scene of the bombed out ships. They race back to their studio, and they get to their developing room, and they develop the photos as fast as they can because this is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And they develop the photos, and all it is photos of a regular shipyard.
Oh, shit.
Pristine, undamaged. They try to tell their editor about it. Editor just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This nonsense. Yeah. We're not going to talk about this. So they dismiss the story. 10 years later, at the height of World War II, Hutton opens up his newspaper and sees photos of the aftermath of a RAF bombing run by the Allies on the German shipyard. And it's the exact same scene of what him and Joaquin had seen that day.
Oh, shit. So these went forward.
They went forward. And forward time slips are a lot more rare than going back in time. But it does happen. I have another story here where someone goes forward in time. Do you have a preference? What would you do? What would you want to do? Forward or backwards?
Fuck. Backwards.
Why?
Because I don't have to worry about trying to do something to it. Like, I think this was still on my, can I change it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And if it's backwards, it's like, fuck. It's only for me now. It's like crazy to see it, but
yeah.
It,
I think I'd go backwards too, just because I'd want to exploit the situation. Like I said, I like to try to get rich off something.
Yeah.
Like get a sports almanac and bet on games.
How did you come up with that? That's pretty.
I know that's a very original idea, and no one's ever thought of that before. It could probably make a good plot point for a movie, but
probably maybe like a time machine could be a fridge.
Yeah, I would call it Back to the Time. Pretty good title, right?
Hit rewind.
Rewind. Be my rewind, bro. So here is a story that I found off Reddit. And the title is "My Father Stops Me from Disrupting Space-Time When I Travel Back in Time."
Rick and Morty episode?
Oh, jeez. This was written 12 years ago by someone named Out of H2G2 References. He says, "As a child, my parents always introduced me to everyone that ever came to our house. They taught me to shake hands and say, 'Hi, I'm so-and-so. What's your name?' This was a rule that could not be broken. One night when I was around 7 or 8 years old, I had a bad dream about being old. I went out to the living room to talk to my dad, who I always used to play with Legos when I had a bad dream. This time, we got out the Legos, but there was a man in the chair. I went to introduce myself, and to my surprise, my dad shooed me away. He got out my Legos and proceeded to talk to the man and instead of play with me. The man and my father talked for some time about things. I don't understand, and neither of them say a word to me. It was weird, but I was young and the Legos were fun, and I eventually forgot the whole thing and went to bed. Never thought about it again. Fast forward 12 years. I head to bed one night, and after having a beer or two with some friends, and immediately start, from what I can tell, lucid dreaming." Now, he says lucid dreaming here, but a lot of people use that phrase incorrectly, because I've been a practicing lucid dreamer for about 16, 17 years now. People always say, "Oh, it was a very lucid dream." They usually mean vivid. Lucid, yeah, lucid dream. Have you heard of lucid dreaming before?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've done it.
Yeah, you can control the dream.
Yeah,
you realize you're dreaming, you can control it.
Yeah.
So I think what he meant to say was it was a very vivid dream, but
he wasn't controlling it. He was just like experiencing something.
He was experiencing it. It was a vivid dream. It felt real. So he said, "I've never had a dream this vivid," and then he says vivid after, "since or before. In the dream, I'm sitting in a chair talking to my dad about what I have done with my life. He is happier than usual and very interested. In the distance, I hear a young person calling for him. He gets up, walks out of the room, and returns a minute later with me as a child with a box of Legos. Young me approaches me. My dad shoos child me away. Young me goes and plays with Legos. My dad and I commence talking about the danger of the butterfly effect and how everything could change if we spoke. He insists we wait until the young man falls asleep and continues talking to me about the future. Then I have 2 or more similar dreams where I see myself from perspectives of mysterious forgotten people and situations, all with my father, all discussing time travel, my future life, and the consequences of changing things. I woke up absolutely convinced I had time traveled, or the ghost of Christmas past decided he wanted to take the off a season shift. It took me a week to rationalize it still, and it gives me the willies typing it out. This is an interesting situation because he's not awake, and he's experiencing these coinciding like timelines with his life.
Yeah.
But I've experienced some very strange things with lucid dreaming that sort of
allow you to do this sort of.
Yeah, I don't want to say astral projection, but I've had experiences where it felt like I left my body and then I come back not realizing I'm asleep and I see myself sleeping.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that, I felt myself getting pulled back into my body. And it's only happened a couple times, but it really fucked with me for a bit.
Yeah.
I think everybody should try.
Yeah, that's just pretty cool.
Yeah, I think everyone should try to learn the techniques around lucid dreaming because I find it very helpful. Like, if I'm having trouble, like I do paintings, and sometimes I get stuck on a painting, and I'll try to lucid dream, and I'll picture the painting in my dream, and then I ask myself, what else do I need to do to it? And then I'll see stuff being added to it, and then I go back and I add it after in real life.
Paint it.
Yeah. I think your brain can do some very strange things when it's asleep. And I don't totally not, I mean, I think I believe this guy that he was able to tap into something. Whether it was tangible or not, like he actually time traveled or not, I don't know, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because he could have this memory of him doing that, like playing with his Legos, and he's not too sure what his dad was up to.
Yeah,
but his brain could easily fill in the blanks.
Exactly. Yeah,
and that's what he's doing, right? Like,
yeah,
like, well, this must have been heaven.
Yeah, he could take it as it was heaven or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, my perfect idea is heaven is being able to go anywhere in time and see what happened after I die.
Wait, going to heaven?
I think after I die, the coolest thing that could possibly happen in the afterlife is I can go forward or backward in time and see everything that I want to see, like world events, history, forward or backwards. If Bigfoot's real,
yeah.
Like go to Roswell on the day of the crash and see what it really was. Like being able to answer these questions.
That would be pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, and then go back to Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, see what's up with Jesus, see what he was really like.
And then after you find everything out, they're like, and that's when you really die. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like remember that movie, The Prophecy? Shh, and he does that, and the people just pass out. It's like that.
I would like to know a lot of shit.
Yeah, it'd be cool. But this isn't the near-death experience show, so we can't talk about that too much.
I'd like to time slip into that. Time slip next to Jesus when he woke up. Yeah,
like, what's up, dude? And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
What's up, bro?
Ow, my hands.
Try the cheeseburger. He'll be like, what the fuck?
What have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, we'll go back. That was feed him a cheeseburger, and then I'll do the same move like this. It just back up.
You didn't see nothing, Jesus.
You'll be like, what the fuck?
This is from In-N-Out. It's animal style.
Dude,
All right.
It'd be way different.
You go forward in time after that, and everything's on fire. People are dead.
No church. The church is also in and out.
The church is all like big buildings with a burger on top.
Yeah, the holy burger.
All right. This is posted in 2008 by a person named Tanim. I'm not going to say the title because it'll give it away. He says, he or she says, I was once camping by myself in the woods of Western Germany near the French border. I had hiked an old road a few miles and stumbled across an old German bunker. Wasn't unusual for the area. The top was caved in, but the walls were intact. I climbed around it and peered inside. It appeared empty, and I spent some time exploring the 2 rooms. It was more like a fortified guard shack than a fortress. It was starting to get dark, and I was feeling a little bit uneasy, so I decided to camp at a spot. I saw a camp at a spot I saw a short distance away instead of staying in the bunker. I set up my tent, made a small fire, and had dinner. I'm starting to realize as I do this podcast that I'm not a very good reader. I don't know if you've noticed.
I just don't know. I'm not a good reader. I know that. Yeah.
No,
I'm not one to judge.
It's like I hit the end of the sentence. I'm supposed to go down a column, and my brain just turns off. And like, oh yeah, where was I? And I split up the sentences. Anyways,
you can't even understand your own writing.
No, oh, I definitely can't. You should see my fucking. I don't know if you can see my writing up here, but my writing is terrible. It's like slanted. It goes off to the side.
You could have been a doctor.
And yeah, I'd write, dude. If I had to be able to write prescriptions for myself, I'd be dead right now. Afterwards, I settled down to listen to the woods and enjoy nature. The fire burned down to embers, and I only gave off light when you looked, and it only gave off light when you looked directly at it. You could see the stars through the forest canopy, and it got very quiet. At some point, I fell asleep next to the fire. Sometime later, I awoke. The fog had rolled in, and it was so thick you couldn't see more than 20 feet. I couldn't figure out what had awoken me until I heard someone speaking some distance away. The kind of loud laughing you hear around a campfire as friends share a beer and tell each other lies about the women they've known. It was far enough away, and my German isn't the best, so I couldn't follow the conversation, but it seemed to be coming from the bunker. I figured the place must be a local hangout for the adventurous. I decided to go down and have a look, and maybe introduce myself and make some new friends. Moving carefully through the night fog, I quietly made my way down the hill towards the back of the bunker. The laughter was louder, and I approached, and I started to see what appeared to be kerosene lights. Just as I was about to say something, it struck me that the roof was back on the bunker, and the figures moving around the light appeared to be dressed in gray uniforms. I froze in place and watched for a few minutes as they appeared to play cards and joke with one another. I'm certain they were wearing Nazi uniforms. I backed away and carefully made my way to the camp. I checked the fire, but it was out. I spent the next several hours awake listening to them. Then the fog began to clear out and sound faded away. Morning, I could see down the hill to the bunker, and the roof was caved in again, and there was no sign of anyone was there. Was it my imagination or a Nazi reenactor group, which is illegal in Germany? I don't think so. So they said, I'm convinced the fog opened a window back to an obscure checkpoint on a wooded road in France, and several bored soldiers were passing a quiet night while waiting for any vehicles that happened to drive by. When I was going through these stories, at least 4 or 5 times, the person mentioned a fog rolling in. There was an old story back from the 40s of 2 kids in the South who went over a hill, and all of a sudden they were in a thick fog. And then in the fog, they saw a bunch of Civil War
Today, Junior?
soldiers like going down a hill into battle, and the fog rolled away and they were out of it.
Oh, it's only with the fog.
Yeah, it's something to do. There seems to be a reoccurring theme of fog and people hearing static in their heads or getting an uneasy, quiet feeling all of a sudden. Like, imagine you're in the forest and all of a sudden all the bugs and birds stop and there's just like dead quiet.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
It's like the kind of thing that happens in a horror movie right before someone dies.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is some like reoccurring things that keep coming up when you read enough of these.
It almost seems like almost like a sea of thoughts, right? Like that's just kind of like in the ocean, like the wavelengths or whatever are happening, and then it might just catch you.
Yeah,
and you're in that, and then you fucking come back to
your
body.
There's like people that do meditation talk about accessing the Akashic records, which is like the mass of all of humanity's thoughts and intelligence throughout time in like an actual space, and then you sort of tap into that and you can see things and hear things and get ideas and stuff. David Lynch talks about that with transcendental meditation.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit like that.
Yeah, like quieting your mind and being able to tap into a different wavelength and get something, which that might all it is, you know.
Yeah, and it sounds unbelievable until you have like one of those vivid dreams or whatever, like lucid dream how you saw it. Because one time I also saw myself almost from the top, but when I realized that I saw myself, I came right back. Like,
so you have had an out of body experience?
Well, it's the same thing like lucid dream. I don't know what I was doing. I forgot. Like,
yeah,
I was trying though. I really was trying to like meditate and be like fucking out there. But once you see yourself, you can relax.
It's like a magnet.
You're too excited. Like, you're like, oh fuck, I'm not there right now, and then you come back.
Something about the realization that you're outside your body, and your mind's like, nah, you got to get back here now.
Yeah, you fucked up. But you see, like,
fucked up, man.
If nobody has tried that or doesn't even believe in it, right?
Yeah,
it's like very fucking weird. But if you know that there's a certain way that you're out there, it kind of makes sense that somebody also is.
Yeah, well,
something that's out there.
It's tangible enough that the CIA was putting money into astral projection programs and remote viewing. Like, they had whole programs of people that they were training to try to see enemy spots from the other side of the world by just meditating.
Oh, shit.
That's what they made that movie, Men Who Stare at Goats.
Oh, that's what it is?
That's what it's all about. Yeah, that was a real story.
I know it's a real story, and the name of it, it's funny to me. And I know it was on Netflix. I had it on my watch list.
You never seen it?
I never seen it.
It's worth it, dude. It's a funny movie, but it's also interesting. Okay. And they were also trying to get people to remote view other planets to see like if there's intelligent life. There's some interesting accounts though. This was posted a year ago by a deleted user, so I don't have their name. I can't give him any credit. And it's a story that his coworker told him. He starts, there's a town in Ohio that's very old, very wild. Forests, not much else around except for a farm or two. And my coworker claims that each time he went out there, he would notice his watch and it would malfunction, or his compass would act weird and he'd have missing time or things of that nature. So him and his buddy were out there hunting in the forest. They hunt all day, don't think they killed anything, but they decide to leave. They're hiking back when a dude about 30 years old approaches them on a dirt road in a tractor, clearly a farmer type guy. He questions my coworker and his friend and tells them they're hunting on his property. They apologize and start striking up a conversation. And the farmer takes a liking to the two men. Tells them that the next time they're out there, if they should run into any trouble or get approached, just mention the farmer's name and it'll be okay. So 2 years go by or so, and they get together again to go hunt on this property. A similar thing happens where a young man on a riding mower or tractor approaches them, and they realize that this is a different guy. They tell the young man that they have permission to be there from the owner, and they mention the person they had met before. He proceeds to tell me that the young man they were speaking to gives him a strange look. The man says, "You're telling me my father man told you guys a couple years ago that you could hunt here?" They said yes and described the prior interaction. The man looks puzzled and tells him to follow him back to the old farmhouse. They go inside. There's a very old man in a hospital-type bed in the living room watching TV, hooked up to an oxygen tank. And the young man say, "Dad, these men claim you talked to them a couple years ago and gave them permission to hunt." The old man looks at my coworker and his friend in bewilderment and says, "I remember you two. You haven't aged a day." It creeped me out, obviously. Anyways, I guess I talked to them for a while, then left. Never went back there. So, in the span of 2 years, this farmer guy goes from 30 years old to 90 years old.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And remembers them.
Which is the most unbelievable part.
Yeah, so if he had a Reddit account, he might be like, I talked to these people. And
Farmer Man 69.
They look very futuristic, you know. I don't know these youngsters, but they wanted a hunt, you know.
Yeah.
I said yes.
I said yes, and then I got in my time machine.
I said yes, and then I kept living my life, and they came back to finish the job. Like, his point of view is crazier, I think.
I know. I want to hear the farmer's point of view. Yeah, I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So
No, I never had one of those, man.
Never?
Not
I don't
yet.
fucking believe you. I think next week you're gonna say
I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna go to the foggy place.
Go to the foggy place. All right, so this is the last story.
Okay.
It's a little long, but I thought it was the most fun and the craziest that I read out of everything.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready? Take yourself there.
I'm gonna take myself right there.
Drink it in. Posted 10 years ago by a guy named or girl Ninja Nerd BGM on Reddit. A couple hours ago, I was in the midst of a coding frenzy when my stomach started rumbling. The nearest place is McDonald's. Always McDonald's. I just wanted some quick food. I wasn't dressed. I hadn't showered all day. I just wanted to run to the nearest drive-thru and get back. McDonald's it is then. I threw a leash on my dog and headed out. I loaded the dog in my car and turned on the ignition. Outside, there was still a bit of light. The sun had just dipped behind the mountains on the horizon, and it was just dark enough to warrant headlights. As I'm winding my way out of the neighborhood, I started to notice that the street lamps kept going out as I passed under them and then coming back on when I went past them, which I thought was strange, but I chalked it up to the coincidence as I've had streetlights go out on me before. I eventually made it to one of the last turns to get out of the neighborhood, but as I pulled to the stop sign, I felt a wave of something pour over me. I heard my dog whimper. I looked back at her, and she had ducked back into the middle of the back seat, tail between her legs, with her fur sticking straight out. It felt like I went through a thick sheet of static electricity, honestly, and I began hearing a loud feedback noise in my head, and the world got blurry. This went on for a few seconds before it cleared up. My car had stalled during this time, so I turned the engine back on and made my way past the stop sign. When I pulled into the main road, I immediately noticed that the streetlights were vastly different. They were the usual black, but they had a bright iridescent color to them, lighting up the environment. The streetlights that were usually on the medians on the road were gone as well, replaced by trees. McDonald's was still by the right of my house. I could see the sign, but it was in a different building. The building was much bigger than usual, but so far, this is the least strange thing to happen to me on this drive. So I drove towards it, still very much confused as to the sudden change. My dog in the back of the car seemed to acclimate to the change much better, as she was back to sticking her head out the window and sniffing the air. I pulled up to the only stoplight between me and the destination, and the car in front of me was something I'd never seen before. The logo on the back was a silver circle with what looked like a silver Sicilian eagle in the middle. On the eagle's chest was a letter G in a cursive font. The model of the car was called Vapor. The license plate was the same as the other, though. I go through the light, still wondering what the hell happened when I reach the McDonald's. I get to the drive-thru, which is all LCD screens updating to show featured menu items and looping GIFs of people smiling while they eat. My usual is still on the menu, though for $2 more than what I'm used to paying for it. So I ordered that.
Could have gone back in time, 29 cent cheeseburger.
Could have got that sweet and sour sauce too.
Mhm.
I ordered that. I pull up to the window with my credit card, and I have it ready to pay. The worker opens up the window and greets me. I greet him and hand him my card. He looks at it and then back at me and says, "We don't accept that here." And then hands me a gadget that reminded me of one of my dad's blood pressure monitors. I guess I was supposed to put my finger in it, but I was so thrown off, I just asked, can I pay cash? The worker says, cash? Sure, I guess.
What?
So I hand him 20 and he inspects it for longer than anyone should and then proceeds to give me my receipt without my change. When I asked him about the change, he looked at me with a very confused face and said, "We don't have cash at this location, sir. We only have cash vouchers." He says, okay. So I look at my receipt and lo and behold, the bottom of it says cash value, $11.26. Good enough for me, I guess. I pull up to the next window. After waiting for a few minutes, the next worker opens up his window with my bag of food in his hand and a big smile on his face. He hands me the bag and I put the receipt in it out of habit. Then he says to me, "Oh, wait, I forgot your fries. Can I have the bag back, please?" So I hand him the bag back, and a few seconds later, he returns and says, "I hope you have a great day. I made this spit. Great day. Spit. This went on for a few seconds.
I thought you were fucking up.
No. You thought I was having a stroke?
I was like, what happened to you? You say your writing was terrible. I don't know how terrible it was.
It's really bad, dude.
Okay.
This went on for a few seconds. His face and body motions were moving and resetting like when you tilt an N64 game slightly out of the console. Okay. I didn't have time to be terrified during the moment because as this happened, I felt a wave of electricity come over me again. Just like the last time I heard my dog whimper, and when I looked back, she was crouched in the back, her fur extended. Just like the last time, I heard a loud feedback noise in my head. My eyes took a second to adjust. But when the world came into focus, I saw that I was in a parking lot. I recognized everything. This was the parking lot in which the McDonald's is in that I'm used to. I'm sure enough, the McDonald's was visible in my rearview mirror at its usual location. So I go through and buy food again. My $20 was missing, as was my cash voucher or whatever. And I drive back. Dog ate it.
Classic.
I have no clue what happened, and honestly, I wanted to get as much detail out as I could while it was still fresh in my thoughts.
Yeah, that makes sense. What the fuck, dude? I would invest in that McDonald's.
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to hold for at least that long. You know.
And now's the time, people. Support McDonald's. I know.
That's so much. I'll just say that McDonald's, that location.
I know McDonald's is a struggling little mom and pop place, so put your money into it. They need more money.
Support the movement.
What I liked was this guy had it happen and immediately went to Reddit after and was like, I gotta type all this shit out.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a very good story.
It's pretty good. Especially the way
robot?
they take the cash payment.
Oh, I think what he meant was like, those little monitors they put on your finger at the hospital, and it takes your oxygen level and all that. Unless the workers were fucking with them. Let's see what this guy does.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, next window, act like a robot." That's the part. That's the part I like.
Yeah.
Spit. Special. Great day.
Yeah, I would like to see the drawing of this the vapor car or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's if one of those things like all of a sudden comes out.
Yeah.
That'll be freaky.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like he might not have seen our future. He might have seen the more they learn about dimensions and things outside of dimensions, like he could have tapped into an alternate timeline where there's robots at the McDonald's.
Yeah.
And a car called Vapor. I just thought it was interesting because of the static thing again, and then like the reaction of the dog noticing something.
Yeah, there is. It's just like how you're saying. There's always something that's familiar, like the static.
Yeah, and then dogs always notice stuff before humans do too. So like a dog's picking up on whatever's happening, which flies in the face of the theory that it's just your brain tapping into it, that it's actually a physical phenomenon happening because
the
someone.
dog was there too. Huh?
Yeah, I wonder what my cats would do.
They probably don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck, dude. My
like,
cat's actively taking a shit behind me right now. Like it's gonna be bad in here in a couple minutes. They don't give a shit forward or backward in time. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
So I've been wanting to cover time slips for a while because I think they're fascinating.
Yeah, they're fucking interesting.
The stories are fun. So if I find any more in the future, maybe if I find some cool ones in the future, I'll drop them into a creepy catch up or something.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Even if they're just interesting.
What were you about to say? Bullshit?
No, they could be bullshit. But at least,
even if they are bullshit.
Even if they are bullshit. Oh fuck! Here comes the fog right now, dude.
No.
Oh fuck! I saw it on the screen.
Gabriel. All of a sudden, you're in Germany. I shouldn't like it, Russian.
Let me say, hey, I see millions of viewers. I must be in the future, dude.
It's not my future, trust me. Yeah, that's the show. I'm planning out some other shows. I'm planning out a show with Chris again in the future, who was just on for the Black Dahlia.
What does he claim to have now?
He actually found a body. He finally
found the body this time.
Yeah. We're all rooting for him. No, we're gonna be covering the haunted bars of Los Angeles.
Oh shit! Yeah, he's perfect for that.
Yeah, so I think that'll be good for him. And it's possible we lost the sponsor with David Lynch, unfortunately.
Damn.
I think his store went belly up, so he's not going to do any commercials. So I'm working on a sponsor right now. So hopefully next time.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a new
sponsor. One.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening. And I'll be on tomorrow for Frank Welker Wonder Hour. And we got more shows in the future. Instagram, Macabrecast Show. YouTube, Macabrecast Clips. I'm thinking about setting up a Patreon, but I'm not sure. If I do, you could be getting a sweet 50 cents every month.
Here's what I've been waiting for. The seed has been planted.
Is there anything you want to plug?
No, not yet.
I heard you're working on a diss track against Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah.
Hey guys, why can't we get along?
Teaming up with J. Cole.
Yeah, he just left.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? Fuck
I'm gone. I got a barbecue to go to.
We should start a beef with another podcast.
Dude, that's a great idea. Who do you want to pick on? What's a big one?
Have you heard of what's it called? Some dude from the UFC, Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that monkey looking.
I think if we say something, he'll respond right away because he needs fucking followers.
You think you're so special with your $500 million? All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks for being on, Gabriel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun. And I'll if you have another favorite podcast, I'm talking to the listeners now.
Oh, okay.
If you guys have a favorite podcast, Matthew will fight in the ring with them.
Sorry, what? Excuse me.
I thought you said you were down for whatever.
I'm down for a rap battle. I'm not down for a real battle.
Oh, just rap battle. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt will battle your favorite podcaster.
I got knee and back issues. It's a combo.
Don't feed in the fucking lyrics, dude. They got you. No, they got some
My
dirt on you.
bars can't be beat though.
They got some dirt on you now, dude.
Yeah,
it's gonna be easy.
I got this, bro. All right, everybody. See ya.
Later.